And so when this stuff got posted, it was everywhere. It was on the online news, TV news, Twitter. Oh my gosh. What happened was there was a news feed on Twitter that has like 40,000 followers or something like that. And it got retweeted by everybody. And so this was a hugely trending topic. And eventually, I believe Alpha Centaurians were ranting about this. They had stupid Earthlings in there, they're colliding satellites. This was a firestorm, pardon the expression. It was incredibly difficult to get the word out that that's not what was going on. Now, for me, it's important for me because, sorry about that. I'm an astronomer. I want people to understand the science of what's going on. So I was really trying to fix this and get the word out that this is not what was going on. It wasn't, in the scheme of things, the fact that most of you didn't even hear about this shows that this isn't a critical thing. But this stuff happens because I'll say that Jenny McCarthy is on Twitter talking about stuff. There are other people out there. They're going to be promoting their stuff, and reality-based people are going to be promoting theirs. So how do we fight this kind of thing? And really the answer is I'm not sure. I don't know. And that's part of being a skeptic, is admitting when you don't know something. It's hard sometimes. But in fact, I do have some ideas. And one thing is to fight it. Is to don't sit back and just let this stuff happen. Is to actually get online and do something about it. If you've got a blog, or you know somebody who may know something about it, talk to them. Participate. Join up with these groups. If they sound like they're doing something that you're interested in, like the Skeptics, or if you're Australian and you want to talk to them about that sort of thing, with the local top-down or bottom-up groups, whatever. Join up, see what they're doing. Because with the JREF, with Randy is a stage magician. He was many years ago. And so we do a lot of magical stuff. There's a lot of magicizing of skepticism, a lot because of people trying to fool you. But now I'm a scientist, and so now we're doing a lot of science stuff. We have doctors who are affiliated with us. So we're doing magical stuff. There's a lot of different stuff going on there. There's always something going on that will be of interest to you because, it's not like it's anybody trying to fool you in the tech community, right? Join up and just basically start something. The people who are here are going to, I think, be skewed towards movers and shakers. A lot of you are not grassroots by definition. Anything I do with skepticism, it's kind of the curse of being with a professional organization. I can't do anything grassroots anymore. I can't do anything on my own. It has to be as part of a professional organization. It's a tool that I like sometimes. But anybody can do this. It's easy. You can start up. It can be a hobby, and it can turn into something big. I did start off on my own with my Astronomer website, just screwing around, talking about how much I hated the movie Armageddon and had no science in it. And the next thing I know, I'm being invited to Gnomedex. The lesson here is to always be on alert. This is a picture of actually my dog who sits in the backyard and can sense squirrels for 100 miles. For both democracies and squirrels, eternal vigilance is the price of freedom. I put this up, and it's also true. I posted this on July 4th, actually. But it's also true just in reality. You cannot sit back. You cannot rest. The forces of unreason are always out there all the time. They're in tech, they're in medicine, they're in science, they're on TV, they're on the web, they're selling books, they're on street corners. And the only way to fight them is to continue the fight and always fight them. And that's what I'm going to do, and I'm hoping that if any of you are interested, come and find me, and we can talk about how we can do this together. Thank you.
So from a business standpoint, when we're evaluating possible ideas for crazy things we could do, and someone always says, well, they come up with 6 reasons why it won't work. And sometimes you just have to think outside the box or throw something at the wall, see what sticks. How do you balance the desire to go and do something crazy and just see with the need to really evaluate things critically?
That's a good question. For every scientist you hear about, there's a bunch more that went off the rails. And went off and examined something that turned out not to work. And the only thing to do is to try it, right? If something really is weird and the universe can fool you, if you've ever studied quantum mechanics, it's baffling. And in 1900, some people got together and said, maybe it's this, maybe things really aren't going the way we thought, and we really need to try this. And it was a crazy thought, but what started happening was it worked. And that's how you know when you're on the right track, when it starts making predictions. Dark energy is the same thing. This is in my field of astronomy. Totally screwed up idea that the universe it's expanding, we know that. But not only is it expanding, but it appears to be expanding ever faster every day, which is totally list. How can we be wrong? They literally had this list. They're scratching it off. It's not this, it's not this, it's not this. And finally, they scratched everything off their list. That doesn't mean there's nothing they don't know about. It could still be wrong, but now it's looking pretty good that dark energy is real. We know quantum mechanics exists because we build nuclear weapons, because you're all sitting in front of computers that use quantum mechanics. That was the biggest revolution in science for hundreds of years. So the question is, how do you know when to go off on the rails? You know, you can dabble in it a little bit and say, maybe I need to try, maybe this is a little wacky, let's look at it. And if it doesn't work, you know, you can abandon it. It's a judgment call. And if you talk to the most successful scientists in the world, they will tend to say, yeah, I tried something, it didn't work, and I tried that, it didn't work, and then I just kept trying. And eventually, the wacky idea down at the bottom of the list is the one that wound up describing the world the best. The problem is that when you scratch that one off and then you keep looking for more, and that happens too, and that happens even with the best of scientists. There's a point where you turn around and say, oh, I'm totally lost. And that's a hard thing to know. And basically when everybody else is telling you guys are wrong, at some point you have to say, maybe I'm here.
One more.
One more? Well, right next door, that makes it easy. Oh, okay. Oh, he's got a point.
So, that was awesome. Really loved it. I guess I'm trying to think about this a lot. The question I always come to is, how do you make skepticism and truth viral and overpowering enough to drown out the bullshit? Are there ways that you think about making either reputation more visible, or even I think about how you try to create viral memes around skepticism so that you can basically defend people from bullshit?
Oh, if I knew that. I get paid by advertisements on my website. If I could go viral with every blog post, I would buy and sell all of them. I don't know. One thing that I'm trying to do is make it fun, and that's something that our foundation has sort of done by accident. We started having these meetings, and we saw that the crowd was getting younger every year. And so this year I dabbled in having science and entertainment, skepticism and entertainment on stage. So we had Bill Brady, who's the executive producer of The Big Bang Theory, for example, which has a lot of, there we go, a smattering of applause, excellent. But he talked about science and skepticism in his show. And it's a very popular show, so I thought that was going to be cool. Anybody going to DragonCon this year? Really? Okay. Well, then never mind. I'll drop that entire line. But in fact, we're at Comic-Con, and we're going to DragonCon. I've got a panel called Sneaky Skepticism with Adam Savage from the Mythbusters, Scott Sigler, who was a New York Times bestselling author. Oh, you guys know Sigler? Okay. His stuff is really good. He's science-based horror. It's not supernatural. It's all science-based. It's really good stuff. And so I'm trying to show that you can be sneaky and skeptical. There was a word you used, I can't remember what it was exactly, but Penn and Teller have a show on Showtime. And they can push it pretty hard, and they're sometimes skeptical, cynical but not skeptical. But that's a good show because it shows you how they do their skepticism. That's how it goes viral, is you make it fun. And when stuff is fun, then people want to do it. And I'm hoping that instead of being, the cabal of grizzled old bastards in the room, deciding what is and isn't real, it actually becomes more of a participatory sport. And I think that's how we can make it fun. Because everybody needs to be skeptical. When you go to the car dealership, you're a skeptic, right? But you have to understand that can apply to everything. And I'll end it with this. My daughter was about 5 years old. We're watching a kids show. And then they cut to a commercial. And they show these kids. And, I'm always telling her, do you think that shampoo really made that woman's hair look like that? That's right. And then she's watching this commercial with these kids playing with this toy. And she turns to me afterwards and says, I don't think that toy is that much fun. I think that the people who were filming that told them to play with it and make it look like a lot of fun. And I went, thank you. Oh, no way. This way. This is how big of a dork I am. These are the blue cards that Chris used when he interviewed me on all that. I stole them from you. You never know. Oh my God.